Welcome back to SecretSpool's Therapy Thursday. I'm Ellie, and tonight's story is for anyone who's ever felt invisible or quietly overlooked, even by the people closest to them. Healing doesn't always come from sweeping revelations or life-changing moments. Sometimes it comes from a stranger's gentle kindness catching you completely off guard. Tonight's story is about one small interaction that revealed a much bigger truth about loneliness, emotional hunger, and the kind of affirmation so many of us don't receive nearly enough. My day started like any other, tired, routine, and heavier than I wanted to admit. I boarded the bus the same way I always did, half awake, half numb, slipping into my usual seat as the world moved around me in a kind of muted blur. I had my headphones in, but no music playing, just using them like a barrier between me and everything else. It was one of those mornings where you feel yourself fading into the background, and part of you assumes no one will even notice you were there. The bus wasn't silent, but it carried that familiar low hum of people minding their own business. Some stared at their phones, some read, some just sat quietly, existing in their own bubble. I stared out the window, watching buildings blur past, letting the motion do the thinking for me. I wasn't sad exactly, just tired in that emotional way that makes your thoughts feel heavier than your body. The sky outside was gray, but inside I felt more washed out than the weather. At one of the middle stops, a man stood up to get off. I hadn't noticed him earlier, which says everything about where my attention was. He looked ordinary, brown jacket, worn backpack, a calm, open expression you wouldn't look at twice in a crowd. Nothing about him suggested anything dramatic or noteworthy. He moved toward the front of the bus with quiet confidence, the way someone does when they ride this route every day and know exactly where they're going. Just as the bus doors opened, he paused, not dramatically, not like he suddenly remembered something. It was more like something nudged him gently, and he chose not to ignore it. He turned back toward me, not with a stare, not with an evaluating look, but with a soft, steady kind of presence. And in the simplest, most honest tone, he said, "You're very beautiful." No smirk, no lingering gaze, no expectation attached, just a genuine passing truth, spoken aloud. My brain stalled. I blinked at him, confused, almost startled by the sincerity. I even glanced over my shoulder to make sure he wasn't talking to someone else. But no, he meant me, and all I managed to do was smile awkwardly and say, "Oh, thank you." He smiled back, nodded once, and stepped off the bus. That was it. No follow-up, no attempt to sit next to me, no request for my number. Just a compliment offered with zero strings attached. As the bus started moving again, something in me shifted. First, it was a tightness in my throat, a small tremble under my ribs, and then, without warning, my eyes filled with tears, not the dramatic kind, just quiet ones, the kind you swipe away gently because you don't want anyone to see it. I didn't cry because he called me beautiful. I cried because of what it made me realize about how long it had been since someone said something kind to me, without wanting anything in return. I realized that most of the compliments I receive aren't really compliments, they're transactions. They come with implications, hidden expectations, or some kind of unspoken agenda. They're less about me and more about what the other person hopes to get from me. That awareness crept in over years, gently but consistently teaching me to brace myself whenever someone said something nice. Because history had shown me that nice often turns into something uncomfortable very quickly. One time, someone said to me, "Your body is a weapon," and somehow I was expected to accept that as flattery. Instead, it made me feel objectified, like a collection of parts rather than a whole human being. Compliments like that don't reach your heart. They don't build connection or trust. They make you feel guarded, like you're being assessed for value rather than appreciated for your existence. And little by little, you stop expecting anything softer than that. Sitting there on that bus, tears slipping down my cheeks, I understood something deeper. I am starved for real affirmation, not the kind that aims at my appearance in a shallow way, not the kind that tries to impress me or push my boundaries. I'm starved for words of affirmation, the kind that feel human, gentle, thoughtful, and rooted in sincerity, the kind that seem to say, "I see you," instead of, "I want something from you." And the part that hurt the most wasn't the lack of these moments from strangers. It was noticing how rarely the people closest to me speak my love language. I meet them in theirs. I adapt. I show up. I make an effort to communicate in the ways that feel meaningful to them. But somehow, that energy doesn't always come back to me. I pour into other people willingly, but the return is rarely in the form I need most. Simple, heartfelt words. That's the quiet truth about love languages. We don't always receive what we give, even when it seems obvious, even when we try to model it ourselves. Sitting on that bus, processing everything, I realized I had been convincing myself for years that I didn't need verbal affirmation, that I was fine without it. But that moment made it clear. I do need it, and there's nothing wrong with needing it. There's nothing weak about wanting to feel seen and appreciated through words. The stranger's compliment broke through a wall I didn't realize I'd built. It reminded me that kindness doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be flirty or strategic or transactional. It can simply be someone recognizing beauty, inner or outer, without expecting anything back. His words didn't feel like a performance. They felt like honesty, and that honesty softened something inside me that had been tense for a long time. As the bus rolled on, I replayed his voice in my mind, not because I needed validation from a random person, but because of what the moment revealed, that genuine, agenda-free kindness still exists in the world. That sometimes the most meaningful emotional moments come from people who don't know your history, your wounds, or your defenses. They just see a human being and speak from the heart. That stranger reminded me of something important. We all have the power to do that, to make someone's day lighter with one sincere sentence, to acknowledge someone who feels unseen, to offer warmth without expecting anything back. Sometimes we think our words don't carry weight, but they do. And for someone who feels starved of affirmation, one gentle sentence can open the door to healing they didn't know they needed. So if there's anything to take from today's story, it's this. Say something kind to someone, not in a performative way, not for attention, and definitely not with conditions. Say something kind simply because it might be exactly what someone needs to hear. Even if it feels small to you, it might be the thing that reminds them they're still worthy of gentleness, still visible in a world that often moves too fast to notice them. Thank you for listening tonight. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Many of us are still learning to recognize what we need and to believe we're worthy of receiving it. As you go through the rest of your week, remember this: your words matter. They can lift someone's spirit. They can soften their day. And don't forget to offer that same compassion to yourself. I'll see you next Therapy Thursday. Take care of your heart